The terminal buzzed with the usual chaos of travelers dragging their suitcases, announcements echoing over the intercom, and coffee cups clinking in hurried hands. Amid the rush, a woman named Naomi Blake walked through the airport with quiet confidence. She wore a simple white blouse, navy slacks, and carried herself like someone who had seen every corner of the world, because she had. What no one around her knew was that Naomi wasn't just another passenger catching a flight. She was the CEO and co-founder of Skylink Airlines, one of the fastest-growing luxury airline companies in the country. Naomi believed in keeping a low profile. Whenever she traveled, she preferred to move incognito, no VIP lounges, no entourage, no special treatment. She wanted to experience the same journey her customers did, to see how her staff and competitors treated everyday travelers. That day, she booked a flight under her middle name, Naomi Daniels, on a competing airline called Aerostar, known for its flashy ads but questionable customer service. As she approached the check-in counter, she noticed a tall blonde flight attendant rolling her eyes at a couple ahead of her. The attendant's name tag read, C. Walters. The couple seemed confused about a baggage fee, and instead of helping them, Walters snapped, "If you can't afford to fly, maybe you should drive." Naomi's eyebrows raised slightly, but she stayed quiet, waiting her turn. When Naomi finally reached the counter, she gave a polite smile. "Good morning, I'm checking in for Flight 382 to New York." Walters didn't look up. "Put your bag on the scale." Naomi did as asked. Her sleek black suitcase, neatly tagged and in perfect condition, rested gently on the scale. Walters glanced at it, frowned, and said, "This is overweight. You'll have to pay extra." Naomi was surprised. "Are you sure? It's a standard 23 kilograms. I travel often, and this is always accepted." Walters sighed dramatically. "Do I look like I don't know how to read a scale?" "It's overweight. Pay or remove items." Before Naomi could respond, Walters kicked the suitcase aside with the tip of her shoe, causing it to topple. "Move along," she said impatiently. The people in line gasped at the rudeness. Naomi looked down at her suitcase, then slowly back up at Walters. In a calm, measured tone, Naomi said, "Excuse me, but that was unnecessary. You could have just asked me to move it." Walters smirked. "Lady, I don't have time for your attitude. I deal with people like you all day." Naomi caught the emphasis in her voice, the subtle edge that wasn't just about irritation. It was about who Naomi was. A black woman traveling alone, dressed modestly, not flaunting wealth or power. Naomi took a slow breath. "People like me," she repeated softly. Walters shrugged, unapologetic. "Yeah, the ones who always think they're above the rules." A few bystanders shifted uncomfortably. Naomi stood tall, her voice unwavering. "You should really be careful how you talk to passengers. You never know who you're speaking to." Walters crossed her arms. "Oh, please, what are you gonna do? Write a bad review? Go ahead. I've been here 6 years. I'm not scared of complaints." Naomi simply smiled and said, "We'll see." She picked up her suitcase herself, checked in through another attendant who had been silently watching, and boarded the plane. Walters was part of the cabin crew, and when Naomi took her seat in first class, the attendant's face fell slightly. She hadn't expected that. Throughout the flight, Walters tried to act professional, but her tone toward Naomi was clipped and cold. She handed Naomi her drink without making eye contact and ignored her when she politely asked for a blanket. Passengers nearby noticed the tension. One even whispered, "She's being rude to that lady for no reason." Naomi said nothing. She opened her laptop and continued reviewing some financial reports for Skylink Airlines. Her company had just announced a partnership that would allow travelers to transfer miles between Skylink and, ironically, Aerostar. She was flying to New York that very day to finalize the paperwork with Aerostar's board of directors. Halfway through the flight, the captain made an announcement, "We'd like to welcome Ms. Naomi Daniels, an honored guest traveling with us today." Heads turned toward her seat. Walters blinked in confusion. Why was she being announced? After the plane landed, Naomi waited for everyone to disembark before she stood. Walters forced a fake smile. "Hope you had a pleasant flight," she said flatly. Naomi smiled back. "You'll see me again soon," she replied. Walters rolled her eyes. "Sure, I'll be waiting," she muttered sarcastically. The next morning, Aerostar's head office in New York buzzed with excitement. The CEO had called an urgent meeting. The new business partner was arriving. When the conference room doors opened, in walked Naomi Blake, wearing a tailored navy suit and her signature calm expression. Walters, who had been temporarily assigned to assist the executives during the meeting, froze. Her jaw dropped. The CEO of Aerostar stood and greeted her warmly. "Ms. Blake, it's an honor to finally meet you in person. We're thrilled about this merger between Skylink and Aerostar." Naomi shook his hand, smiling graciously. Then her gaze fell on Walters. "Oh," she said softly, "I didn't realize your flight attendants attended executive meetings." The CEO turned, surprised. "Oh, that's Claire Walters, one of our senior attendants. She's just helping out today." Naomi nodded slowly, eyes never leaving Walters. "I recognize her. She was on my flight yesterday." The CEO smiled proudly. "Ah, wonderful. I hope she treated you well." Walter's face turned pale as Naomi's expression hardened just a fraction. "Actually," Naomi said calmly, "she kicked my suitcase and told me, quote, 'People like you always think they're above the rules.'" The room went silent. The CEO's smile disappeared. What? Naomi leaned forward slightly. "I didn't want to bring it up. I believe in judging a company by how it handles its mistakes. So, I decided to see how you would handle it." The CEO was flustered. "Ms. Blake, I'm so sorry. That's completely unacceptable. Claire, step outside, please." Walters stammered, "Ma'am, I didn't know, I didn't mean." Naomi stopped her gently. "You didn't know who I was, right? That's the problem. You shouldn't treat anyone differently based on who they are, or what they look like." The CEO escorted Walters out of the room. Within hours, her suspension was confirmed pending review. But Naomi didn't ask for her to be fired. When the CEO asked if she wanted to press for disciplinary action, Naomi simply said, "No. Let her take some time to think about how she speaks to people. Maybe she'll come back kinder." A week later, Walters was called back to headquarters for a mandatory training on diversity and customer care. Naomi attended as a guest speaker. As she stood on stage, she spoke about respect, not just for passengers but for human dignity. Walters sat in the front row, her head bowed, tears in her eyes. When the event ended, Walters approached her. "Ms. Blake, I just wanted to say, I'm truly sorry. I was stressed, but that's no excuse. You taught me something important, not just about work, but about life." Naomi smiled gently. "Apology accepted. Remember, kindness is free. And you never know who's watching." From that day forward, Walters became known as one of the kindest and most patient flight attendants in the company. She treated every traveler, from the first-class executive to the struggling single mom in coach, with equal respect. Her story became something of a legend in Aerostar, a reminder that arrogance can cost you your wings, but humility can help you soar again. Months later, during a joint press conference announcing the full merger between Skylink and Aerostar, Naomi stood beside the Aerostar CEO and addressed the media. When asked about her philosophy for leadership, she smiled and said, "An airline doesn't fly on engines alone. It flies on people, and how we treat them determines how high we can go." In the audience, Walters watched proudly, tears welling up once again. She knew those words weren't just about business, they were about redemption. And so, the story of a flight attendant who once kicked a suitcase became a powerful reminder that respect isn't given by titles or uniforms, it's earned through how we treat others, no matter who they are.